Okay, guys, welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. Excuse me. Hope everyone is doing well this Friday morning. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Make sure you do check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. Link to that in the description below. Also, at the top of the chat, where you can chat with other traders, join discussions, chat with myself as well, share ideas. So if you are looking to check that out, feel free to go and do that. You can also learn more about Elevating Traders, the prop firm. And of course, you can find your code for 50% off in the Discord as well. But guys, welcome back to another stream. As always, I'll go through the USD markets first. We'll start with DXY and work our way through them. Been some interesting moves. We did have some news yesterday with the ECB, and we had some PPI as well for USD yesterday. So there were some interesting moves in the market, and this morning as well, we are seeing a bit of movement. Today, I think we had a bit of GBP news in the morning. Yeah, we had some GDP news for pound, and we did see a bit of weakness after that. But for the rest of the day, I'm pretty sure there's not much. Yeah, not much for the rest of the day. So should be pretty smooth, of course. Natural momentum as New York session comes in, but in terms of big news events, don't really have anything until next week. So we've got the worst out the way, but we'll see how that does develop. What's up, Bad Wiki? Welcome to the stream. Glad to have you here. Bar, what is up? Hope you're doing well. Yes, I will go over gold. I'll go through a bunch of USD markets. I'll take a look at the DXY, some of the USD crosses, and then I'll take a look at gold and silver. So do not worry about that. But yeah, we'll start things off with the dollar. So since we last spoke, this one was pretty bullish. I did say if we do manage to break through 106,500, I will be expecting to see a move back to 107.6, which is this level all the way up there. And that's kind of what I'm still expecting price to do. There's a very solid break above this area, quick retest in the lower time frames as well. I drop back to 30-minute time frame, nice break, retest, and then we're on our way. So dollar to me is looking pretty bullish with a very confident break above that low, especially after the double bottom here from last week. This was NFP, big wick to the downside, closed pretty bullish there. So it was a sign that price was trying to continue this bearish trend. We did break structure not long ago. We saw lower low, lower high. Then we were looking for the lower low. It didn't happen. Price respected that area. And now we've gone and broken the high there. So at this point in time, I do think we can see some more upside back to 107.6. So it looks like we could be finishing the week pretty bullish. Well, we might see some downside to go back and retest it again. So maybe finish the week bearish. But in terms of the next kind of swing, intrigue move, this is kind of what I'm leaning towards. Unless we break back underneath, then we can look at that. But for now, I do think USD has a bit of strength in the tank. Might see a bit of retracement, but overall, 107.6 looks good. I'm going to keep a close eye on the weekly chart to see how some of these weekly kind of do close. It's looking pretty strong there in the weekly chart for the DXY. I'm not quite sold on the bigger buys yet because we're still trading in massive resistance on the weekly chart. So in this territory, it can only be bearish, especially as a swing trader. If price is going to break through this and see a strong close above, which I highly doubt, at least for this week anyway. Maybe next week's candle might do that because we're going to close in a few hours. But if we do see a candle closure above those heights, clearing that level out at some point in time, then yes, I'll be very bullish on USD, looking for a bit of a trend back to the 113, 114 area. But for now, still trading at resistance. So naturally, I'm still a bear. Don't really have an opportunity to short USD or look for downside because, as I said, we did break through that level of resistance this morning or yesterday, actually. Yep, yesterday. So yeah, with that in place, we might be seeing a bit more upside going into probably next week. So yeah, USD really strong break above the high. This is a bullish sign for me because we've double bottom now, broken structure. So I do think a high low can form at some point and get a continuation back to the high there at 107.6, but we very much could get there, double top, and come right back down. So I'm not looking for necessarily a continued trend here because we still haven't broken through that weekly area. But for now, something like that looks realistic, and we might see a big sell. So we'll see what type of price action we get when we get there. But for now, that's definitely a bullish sign for me. So if I go take a look at Euro USD, which is almost doing the opposite, we haven't actually broken through key support yet. Price is still dancing on that level. As we can see, if I drag it across, price is still respecting that area. So with Euro, we might see a bit of a bounce here. I'm not as confident as I have been in previous days with looking for a Euro USD bounce. I think it's still a nice level to buy from, and we might see a push back to this area. But it's a bit more of a range play than anything. I was looking for the bounce there yesterday, but after seeing DXY go and break that high, it's definitely lowered the quality of the setup. It would be nice if DXY was still respecting that resistance in the 4-hour chart as well as Euro. But since we did get that break, yeah, not looking as likely. You might still see a bounce because we are seeing some rejection, but it could open up the door to something like this later on, probably at some point next week, coming back to retest the lows at 1.03800. I'm still overall bullish on Euro because of where we're trading. Again, if I expand to the weekly chart, yeah, this is still a very bullish area for me. But yeah, I just don't have a good opportunity to take it, especially with the DXY breaking that area. So might still see a bounce, still holding to support very well. Just not too confident we go too far with this one. May see a push back to the swing high, and then we get another sell. With Pound USD, it's not really a similar situation. We had a bit of a drop with Pound USD because, of course, Pound was pretty weak. Well, it was weak this morning, but it was weak yesterday as well. As you can see, we had the consolidation, which I've been talking about. Price committed to the downside out of that back into this area, which again might see a nice bounce from this area. No signal just yet. Bit of a wick down the 4-hour chart, hourly chart, bit of a shift in momentum, but not much. So it looks like again, Pound USD is doing okay, holding onto this level. We'll see how the rest of the day does progress, but we might see a nice bounce from here as well, but not totally convinced that we're going to see a continuation of this. Might be something like that to retest the high and come back down. Similar situation to Euro, maybe a nice bounce, then a bigger sell-off to these lows, which again might form an even bigger double bottom, and we might turn bullish from these areas, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Yeah, Pound USD is in a nice area for a buy. I would wait for some development here. Not looking good for entries just yet, but we are showing signs of holding on to that level. So similar to Euro, might see a bounce from this area back to retest some consolidation up there. In terms of dollar CAD, I like dollar CAD because that did see some nice healthy momentum to the upside yesterday, clearing the highs out and actually showing signs that, okay, this trend does really mean business and we're likely to continue. I still want to see a little bit more upside before I do look for the breaking test with the high here. I'm very much happy to look for a retest of that consolidation because I'm happy with the breakout. It was cleared it by some nice distance. If I whip out the fib from the low to the high, coming back into the 0.618, possibly 0.786 if we have a deeper test. But this is a nice area for a long. If I'm going to look to take a buy on the retest of this level, I need price to push on a little bit further so I can get a healthier correction. But what I can say with dollar CAD is that the trend looks alive very much still. We're seeing consecutive higher highs and higher lows. Price has cleared a very strong area of resistance, and it really hasn't looked back since. If this was a fake out, you would expect the price to roll over by now, starting to break structure, see some lower lows and lower highs. We just haven't seen that with dollar CAD. It's still persisting to the upside, and now with that move on Thursday, really, really powerful. So looking at pullbacks now for dollar CAD, looking for a higher low and more continuation. As to where we could be headed, there's some big levels on the weekly chart. There's the high all the way up here, around 1.46. That could be where price is looking to head towards. Major resistance up there, strong break of this high. That could be the next big target, 1.46. So there could be a lot more upside for dollar CAD. And of course, if that is the case, we're going to need a pretty bullish dollar. So you're probably looking at the DXY breaking through resistance as well, 107.2 to get to 113. That's kind of a similar move. So maybe that's a sign of more things to come. But dollar CAD, nonetheless, price action is very bullish. Looking for more upside there. So keep an eye on some pullbacks. In terms of Aussie dollar, this one, not really much development. It's still testing. Actually, if it goes to the daily chart, still testing some nice areas of support, but hasn't really opened up bullish yet. And also, I don't really like that daily candle closure at all. Big wick to the upside, closes a bit of a doji there. More of a sign of rejection. But if we can start to develop, see some higher highs, some higher lows forming, there could be some nice longs there for Aussie dollar. And that's essentially what I'm looking for. Looking for momentum to shift, similar to what we had with euro and pound. And hopefully there could be some nice buys shortly afterwards. Still no signs of that just yet. And we're still being very consistent with all of these lower highs, as we can all see here. So yeah, it's still very bearish for Aussie, but we're trading in a very bullish area where I do think we can bounce. Just need to see price action shape up and show us some bullish opportunities, and then we can find some longs. But have to stay patient with that, and especially with USD breaking the high. Maybe it might be Aussie dollar looking to roll over, coming back to some lower prices. So need to be careful of that as well. But yeah, still in very bullish territory, so I'm only looking to long so far. Ends the USD, this one. Oh, that's not how you spell ends the USD. Let's try that again. There we go. So ends the USD is a similar situation, but I believe have we got closure below or not quite? Yep, just about closure below that level. So it looks like price is trying to break through. I wouldn't say it's the most confident break in the world that we can't break back above. Again, it's a similar situation in terms of we're still looking for structure to change. Yeah, that's what keeps us in the right side of the market. If we can start to see some higher highs and higher lows printing, it means that, okay, this bearish trend could have met its match, and now it's getting ready to turn. If we are breaking through this to continue lower, there's actually quite a big drop between this level and the next level I'm expecting price to get to, which you guys can't see. There you go, which is around 0.555. So there's a pretty big drop back to this area if we do see a sustained break of that level, which again could mean a lot more downside for New Zealand dollar, a lot more strength for USD as well. But things do shift. There still can be some nice buys there. Things can happen. As a trader, you got to stay on your toes. Potentially, you could be seeing something like this, or potentially, you might be seeing some continuations to take price down. So we'll see how price develops, but I wouldn't say either one is looking totally clear right now. And then in terms of gold, I do like gold because we did see some upside the past couple of days. We've come pushing back down. I would actually be looking for entries in this area if we had a more confident break of the high, because all we did was come back and respect it, fired some wicks into that area, and then we had a pretty strong rejection. So if we had some confident candle closures above the high, then I would be looking at this as a pullback to retest that range and looking for some higher lows to take it further. But at this moment in time, it's more of a double top. It's more price just coming back to respect resistance. So I'm not looking to take any buys just yet with gold. We very much could bounce off this area. Still think it's a nice place to go long, but I just wouldn't try and look for a complete swing here, because actually price is doing a pretty good job at respecting resistance there. So yeah, for gold, I'm still looking for a pushback to all-time highs. I think it's a nice place to go long in this area. I just wouldn't look for anything crazy. A nice bounce for the afternoon can make some sense. But if we created new highs, that would be a different story, because at that point, we've got some bullish structure at play. We've got the swing low, swing high, higher low, higher high. Now you're expecting next higher low to form, and that would be a great area to anticipate that. But because we've got equal highs and prices respecting it, of course, it doesn't mean we can't put a higher low and continue, but it does lower our chances of seeing it. So yeah, for that reason, that's why I'm not looking at gold, but I think it's a nice place for a bounce. I just wouldn't look to trade that or hold that trade for too long. In terms of silver, we're pretty bearish yesterday as well. Both gold and silver came crashing down. Silver is looking a little bit awkward, to be honest. I wasn't expecting so much momentum to the downside, so that has made the buys a little bit awkward. We're still holding on to support here, which is the key thing. I'm looking for a high low, but it's not really ticking my boxes right now, especially with a really strong impulse to the upside, consolidation, and a really strong impulse down. Not really healthy signs of a pullback. As I've said many times on the stream, I'm looking for impulsive moves, then slow moves back down. And those are the moves I want to go against, because they're likely to continue in that direction. When I'm seeing impulse up, impulse down, especially for consolidation in between, not really a healthy sign of continuation. I'm still very bullish on silver nonetheless, because again, my high time frame is what dictates that. So you could even have another push down first before pushing up. As long as we don't take out this low per se, around 26, I'm still very much looking at this as a big correction for us to continue, but it might mean we have another bearish leg first, which makes me have to be a bit more patient before I do take any buys. But still looking at taking gold to gold and silver to the upside. But after that price action yesterday, it has made things a bit awkward. So I'm gonna hold out a little bit more with silver. Still looking to buy it, but nothing presenting itself just yet. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with gold and silver and the USD markets in general. But it does look like USD is a little bit strong. Morning, Keris. Morning, Ben. Morning, Ahmed. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Morning, Darkashon. Welcome to the stream. I will go through GJ, no problem. Hey, appreciate that, Bad Wiki. Right back at you. I'm happy the channel's helping out. That is music to my ears. Good morning, Keris. And I've said good morning to you. Good morning anyway. Second time. Will, good morning. Hope you're well. I'm doing good. Thank you. Hope you are doing good as well. Happy Friday, people. Emmanuel, welcome to the stream. Just bought GJ. Okay, we'll go take a look at that one. Taking it to yesterday's high. Okay, I will take a look. Darkshon, GU long from 1.26 for 40-50 pip move. Okay, we'll take a look as well. Will recommend some brokers. Well, IC Markets is a good broker to look at. I am working on a broker which will be coming out sometime next year. But if you're looking for some of the big players, IC Markets is a good one. XM is a good one as well. But I've been using IC Markets for many years, so I would definitely have to recommend IC. Yes, we just had a look at gold bar. You scroll back a few minutes, you'll see the analysis to that. Silver looks like it's back to 29. It could be 29 is that support level there. Or 29 is down here. Yeah, potentially could be headed back there. I mean, that looks to me like more of a reversal type price action. We had a really nice impulsive break and then price just consolidated and shot right back down. It's kind of like a V-shaped pattern if you kind of just extract that consolidation there and just combine the bearish candles and the bullish candles straight up, straight back down. So it's not really healthy retracement or healthy pullback. And I do get the feeling that more downside is to come, probably a bit of a pullback at some point and then a continuation. So yeah, with silver, I'm still looking at the bigger buys. Again, where I derive my bias from is overall very bullish based on the daily, weekly, and the monthly charts, really. So a move like this doesn't necessarily make me bearish, but it at least does keep me out of the market from looking for buys and makes me bearish in terms of the more short-term price action anyway. Because if I expand to the weekly chart, it overall looks very bullish to me. Although I must say that candle closure is looking very awkward. Yeah, that candle's looking very awkward. And the reason I say that's because it's doing a very good job at holding onto that resistance there, especially with a big wick like that. There's probably a good chance that if we do close similar to how we're looking, might see a bit of a drop there. But yeah, I mean, overall, market structure is still bullish. So this is why I'm bullish in silver. And fundamentally, I do think we can keep pushing. But with that candle closure, it might take us to the downside a little bit further, as Ben mentioned, before maybe seeing continuation, which could happen at a much further date than expected. I was looking for silver to kind of push within the next few weeks, but we might even see a few weeks of bearishness before we do actually push up, maybe back even into the lows here. But yeah, that's a very, very bearish candle there. I mean, it's not very bearish, but the way we rejected the high really aggressively for big wick and closing like we are doing now. Of course, we still got 11 hours left before that weekly candle does close and things can happen. But with a wick like that, I wouldn't be surprised if we do have a bit of a meltdown there. So yeah, not looking good for buys for silver at the moment, must say. And of course, we're seeing that on the 4-hour daily chart as well. So I would be careful looking at any buys. Probably short term, yes, but I do think we'll probably have a drop back to that 29.7 level and probably further as well at this point in time. So yeah, very, very tricky candle closure there. Anyway, I'll go through pound yen. A couple of people have requested that, and Darkshon's in a long on GU, so we'll go take a look at those opportunities. Dollar yen, okay, we'll take a look as well. Yes, still holding CJ, although things are looking awkward for the yen pairs, I must admit. If things gain momentum, I may look to close the CJ trade a little bit early. But yeah, I'll go take a look at that in detail. Of course, we'll go through the rest of the yen pairs as well. Yes, Blessing, we'll go through Euro yen and Euro USD. Hey, what's up, Nanad? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Because of JPY. Yeah, JPY. I mean, some weeks JPY is going to make you in the blue or the green. Depends what you're looking at. But yeah, I mean, again, it's not necessarily because of JPY. It's trading. You know, you're going to take losses, you're going to take wins. It just comes back down to your risk management and your risk to reward. As long as you're following your plan and you're doing well from that regard, then you can't be too upset about it because it's a part of trading. But yeah, JPY have seen some pretty big pullbacks and potentially could be reversals as well. So we'll go take a look at that shortly. I'm just going to go through pound yen, pound USD, and then we'll look at Euro USD. Then we'll just go through a bunch of the yen pairs as well. And if anyone wants me to take a look at any certain pairs, just let me know and we'll have a go. But yeah, pound yen. Did someone say they were short in this one or long? Okay, Emmanuel just bought GJ from 193, taken to yesterday's high. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, that's a really bullish candle closure this morning. So yeah, with GJ, I have been looking to short. This hasn't quite set up for me just yet. I know we did have a pretty strong bearish candle closure, but I still don't really like the candlestick from a couple of days ago. If that big wick hasn't really set up well. Overall, it's still pretty corrective, which is a good sign. If we stay corrective, I still do think a drop is likely, but the price action is not looking great for shorts just yet. I think if you're looking from an intraday perspective, that strong 4-hour close there looks very, very bullish. Big wick to the downside, just pinching the lows out, then closing pretty strongly bullish. You're probably going to see pound yen make a move back to the high up there. So yeah, I do like that trade there on an intraday level. It looks pretty bullish to me. Drop to the hourly chart. Yeah, I like that little sell. Strong close to the upside. Looks like we are just putting another higher low in this bullish pattern on the hourly chart. And we probably are going to make a push back to the high around 194.6, 194.8, and probably hit your highs as well. So yeah, from an intraday perspective, I think it makes a lot of sense. Momentum kind of fell to the downside this morning. Now it's quickly closed and shifted bullish again, and especially with that 4-hour candle closure. It looks like prices has a good chance of pushing back to the resistance up there. So yeah, I really like that trade from intraday perspective. I'm overall still pretty bearish from pound yen, but I cannot ignore what price is doing on the lower time frames. Still very consistent with the higher lows, and especially this morning. Looks like we're about to make a push to the upside. So yeah, pound yen is slowly clawing its way back to the upside. If I take a look at pound USD as well, Darkshon, you said you got a long. I assume from, okay, 1.2633, 2633. Okay, somewhere around here. So in that level for a 40, 50 pip move, if I measure that. So 40, 50 pip. Okay, so you're only looking for something like that. So, okay, I mean, it's pretty realistic to be fair, coming off a nice area where we can definitely bounce from. Again, price previously had a pretty big move to the upside from that area. So we can definitely do something like that again. And we are seeing some rejection on the low time frames as well. Nothing crazy, but it was a nice wick down the 4-hour chart. And we are starting to see some momentum on the hourly chart as well. So 40, 50 pip, I think is pretty reasonable from that area. If pound USD is going to bounce, this is the area it's going to bounce from. I would imagine your stop loss is probably underneath that wick there, just below that low. Sensible place as well. If price is going to be taken at that low, then yeah, you're probably not going to push to the upside anyway. So you do want to be out of the trade. But I like the location, back at nice area of support and an area where we could definitely bounce from. And I like the 4-hour candle closure as well. Seeing some rejection, which could shift the next 4-hour candle to be bullish as well. So yeah, I like the trades in the nice area. And again, when I'm looking at trades, the location is very important, and where you put your stop loss as well. And if you're entering in these areas, stop loss below, of course, nothing's perfect, but you're giving yourself a good chance to catch a nice bounce as well. So yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense as well. I'm pretty bullish on the dollar. That's the only thing, because we have broken through some key resistance on the 4-hour chart. I mean, we could come back and retest this, so that could give us a nice bearish move for maybe the afternoon. But I would watch out as we approach 106,600, which is probably what you're looking for, to be honest, in pounds. If we do get that retest there for the DXY, then that's the wrong. Is that the right one? No, I was on FXCM. Yeah, there we go. So if you do get the right test of that level, or on the DXY, you probably will get the bounce on pound USD anyway. So might be some nice positive correlation between the two. But yeah, I do like both of those entries in pound yen and GJ. I'll take a look at dollar yen, and then I think we'll probably just go through the yen pairs all together. Okay, I'll take a look at Euro USD as well for blessing, and then we'll go through the yen pairs together. Two unsuccessful attempts on CHFJPY. I'll be waiting for the third attack. Well, yeah, I mean, you got to stay patient, because timing is everything with trading. No matter what strategy you are using, it does come back down to timing, really. So yeah, and it's a difficult skill to master as well, timing as well. But yeah, if you are looking to short, because I know you're looking at the low time frames, and we'll go take a look at CHFJPY in detail. But if you are looking at the low time frames, you don't want to be looking to constantly short as the market keeps pushing up, because you could take quite a few losses before eventually you do catch the winning trade. So it's probably best to wait for price to break structure, moving direction, start trending down first, then look to take your shorts on the way down. So yeah, but I'll go through some of the yen pairs first. Wow, 60 pips spread. Which market were you trading for a 60 pips 60 pips spread? That is ouch. Hey, what's up, William? Welcome to the stream. Ciao, right back at you. Yes, we'll take a look at gold for you, no problem. Okay, I'll go through Euro USD, gold, and then we'll just go through the yen pairs all together. Okay, we'll take a look at Nasdaq. Well, we'll take a look at Nasdaq at some point, but we'll go for New Zealand CAD as well. Anyway, let me go through Euro USD. So yeah, Euro USD, I think we could be in for a bit of a bounce, similar to what Pound USD had as well. You can see both Pound USD and Euro both pull back into a nice level of support, and naturally, I do think we can see a bit of a bounce from this area. Whether you're going to see a continuation of this trend in a big swing, I think that's a little bit far-fetched, especially with the dollar breaking through resistance as well. So with the dollar having such a strong break of the high, we probably can see a bit more upside for the dollar. So with euro and pound, it's more of a bounce I'm looking for, rather than a swing and a continuation of a trend. So because prices come back into some key support here, we saw a nice bullish close down the 4-hour chart. You might see pound and euro have a bit of an up move. I just wouldn't look to hold that trade too far. Maybe back to the high there, if everything goes well. And even if we do get back to the high, the risk reward looks pretty good there. So that's a nice trade in itself. But at the start of the week, I was looking for more of a continuation. So price pull back and then continue past the highs. No longer as confident in that move. And I would be looking to, definitely bank some profits at that high, if I was looking to get involved in some longs. And if price does, of course, break support here, like what the dollar did, then we're most likely going to end up back at this support area here anyway. So if we do break through that, probably going to see a lot more downside. But for now, we're still doing a pretty good job at holding on to support. So looking for a bit of a bounce there for euro. I just would be a little bit more aggressive with how I'm managing the trade, because I do think something like that is likely. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for euro. And in terms of gold, I think gold's come back into a nice area for a bounce as well. a nice area for a bounce, but I'm not looking for the bigger move, which I was interested in at the start of the week. There we go, just getting to the right broker. So yeah, at the start of the week, I thought we could see a price break the high, get a nice pullback, and then take it back to the all-time highs. That has been the plan. But yesterday, all we got was price respecting the high rather than breaking through, which is a key, a very important difference. And we respected the high and came back down. So I think it's still a nice place for a buy, nice consolidation. We spent a few days here before seeing a nice break to the upside, and now price come back to retest the same area. So naturally, still a healthy place for a buy. But I would very much watch out as we approach resistance again, because we very much could reject it again. If we did see some new highs past this point and then we had the pullback, then I'll be a lot more confident of that high low forming and maybe a nice swing back to the highs in one go. But because we did respect the highs there, I would be a bit careful with that information now with gold. But nonetheless, still coming back into a nice area of support. I do think we can bounce from here. But yeah, I was looking for a pretty big move on gold. Still am. I still think that's generally the bigger move still back to the all-time highs. I'll be a bit more careful after we had such a strong rejection of 27.21. So yeah, keep an eye on 26.70. Still think that's a nice place for a long. Price action not quite there yet, so I wouldn't be jumping in just straight away. We're still looking pretty bearish in my books, but if things can develop in here, might see a nice long. And as price tries to build up these high lows. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with gold. And in terms of New Zealand CAD, did we close bearish yesterday? A little bit. Actually, no, we closed bullish. That was Wednesday's candle. So yeah, with New Zealand CAD, we do have this ascending channel here, which I am looking for it to break, in all honesty. And it's kind of 50-50 at this moment in time. We're breaking below, closing back above, closing back below. So it's not even like the market knows what it's doing, really. All I can say is that this is a very pivotal area, because whether we respect it or not, there's a big move to be had. If we do imagine price breaking through this area, then there's a good chance we come back to the low. If price does end up respecting the low, then there's a good chance we come back right to the high around 0.86. So whatever New Zealand CAD wants to do, there's a big move to be had. If we do end up breaking out the channel here, could be some nice pullbacks to ride that to the high. If we do end up breaking the lows or looking at some retests, lower highs, and riding it back to that area. So I'm waiting for more information with New Zealand CAD as to which way we're likely to go. All I can say right now is that we're at a very significant level, and whether we respect it or break through, we're probably going to see a pretty nice move. And a similar situation with Aussie CAD as well. But yeah, I would be looking at this low here breaking. If we can break through this low, then I would say, okay, we probably are breaking to the downside out this channel. Then we can speak about some shorts. If we do clear this area here to the upside, which is just this bearish trend line, if we can break through that, then I'll say, okay, we probably are breaking to the upside at this point, and we can speak about some buys. So either or with New Zealand CAD, but neither looking particularly clear. Okay, so okay, I'll go through US 30 and then I'll go through the rest of the yen pairs. Dark Sean. Yeah, I mean, you can if you want to ask more detailed questions, you can stick it in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, go check out the Discord, free to join. Link to that in the description below, and it's at the top of the chat as well. But yeah, I mean, if you are interested, head over to the website, go read up about it. There's the FAQ page, which has a lot of questions and answers, probably ones that you would have if you're not seeing any answers to your questions. Drop it down in the chat in the Discord, and we'll definitely get back to you there. But yeah, I mean, go have a browse if you're interested. What's up, Holy One? Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the stream. Time for one-to-one Q&A. I mean, that could actually be a nice little segment. I mean, I kind of do that anyway, really, Darkishon. If you do have any questions, drop it down in the chat and I will answer it as I do my analysis. So I kind of do that already anyway, but it could be an idea to do like a dedicated Q&A session. But yeah, any questions you have, drop it down in the chat. And, if it's anything a bit more detailed, then probably drop it in the Discord. So I can get back to you in a bit more detail. But yeah, any questions, drop it down in the chat. I'm happy to answer them. But anyway, we'll go through US 30 and now start going through the yen pairs before I completely just not do that. So yeah, US 30. Oh, would you look at that? We'll come back into that nice area. So this is not a trade I have open, by the way. This is just the setup I was talking about yesterday. But yeah, US 30s come back into a nice area of confluence, come back into that zone there, brief consolidation before we shot to the upside. So a nice area of demand. On the left here, of course, we are looking to follow this bullish structure of these consecutive higher highs and higher lows. We pull back into the 50 there, healthy area of retracement. And I'm pretty sure we do have the 200, how we tested that. I'm bouncing on it right now. So overall, we're in a really nice area here for US 30. And I like the way we retrace as well. It's been pretty neat and tidy, corrective move down, nothing too sporadic, just pretty nice. That's awful. Let me do that again. Pretty nice, kind of healthy, corrective behavior. So I do like the buys here for US 30. If we can bounce here, I do think there's a good chance we push all the way back to the highs at 45K and probably beyond that. And the reason why I like US 30 buys a lot is because, as I spoke about yesterday, NAS 100, we created new highs with this one. We had a really strong push on Wednesday, and that created new highs. And with the S&P 500, we had a strong push to the upside as well. It didn't quite create new highs, but we had a pretty strong move on Wednesday as well. This one looks like it might be creating new highs pretty soon. So I do think US 30 is lagging behind those two other US indices. So as a result, I do think an up move is due. And this is a nice area for a buy as well. So US 30, I think it's a nice place for a buy. As long as price doesn't break through this low here, I'm looking at a higher low forming at some stage. If not here, maybe a little bit deeper at this consolidation around 0.786. Maybe we do push a little bit deeper. I think that could be a nice second area of interest. As long as we stay above this low, I'm looking for that higher low to form and a push to the upside. If we break through that low, then of course that's a big break of structure. And we might see a bit of a counter bearish trend form for a bigger pullback. And then of course, eventually do expect the higher low to form and push back to the highs, but we'll probably see a bigger pullback at that stage. So yeah, as long as we keep following structure, I do think we're going to hit 45K pretty soon, and we might be on our way already. So yeah, nice area for some longs, I would suggest for US 30. Excuse me. Anyway, we'll go through some of the yen pairs now. So dollar yen, I believe this one has been looking a little bit bullish. Of course, we had USD push the upside very strongly, and that was a very strong candle close this morning. So as we approach this area here, this is kind of the last point of call now with dollar yen. If we do respect this area, I think this is a great place for a short. And of course, risk was looking very good for a push all the way back to that low. If we don't respect it, then I'm going to have to fold my arms and start to back away from dollar yen and rethink my bias, because we should be looking to respect structure and form lower highs. If the market is breaking through structure and not respecting those areas, then it's probably a situation where maybe dollar yen is shifting, and we could be looking at a very bullish dollar yen back to the highs. And in fact, if we get back to the highs and take them out, then we probably are just going to push back to the high here, which is 161.645. So this is a very, very important level where if we don't hold today or this week or whenever, I'm going to have to rethink my bias there and analyze that again with dollar yen. So very nice level, 153.5. Of course, still looking pretty bullish right now, but yeah, things can change very quickly. So keep an eye on that area. Dollar yen's not my necessarily favorite to short because USD's been pretty strong. I do like pound yen a lot more, so that's kind of where my focus is. And pound yen's not looking particularly great at the moment either, but it's in a nice area to short from. So I would keep an eye on that for dollar yen. But yeah, very bullish. But this is an area which I do expect us to sell from. So keep an eye on structure, looking for double tops, wicks, bearish engulfing candles, and that will be something that that would be nice to get short from. But yeah, very important level. If we break through, might see a lot more upside for dollar yen. If we go over to euro yen, I think this one as well. Yeah, strong close to the upside. Again, the key thing for me is the corrective behavior. If we keep that up, then I do expect us to drop. If price starts flying and starts seeing aggressive candles to the upside, then that will be a big red flag. Most definitely. We need to stay corrective. And if we do, then I do expect us to eventually see that move lower. But if we do start seeing impulsive behavior, then that does change up the characteristics of the move. And we might be seeing a bit of a reversal on our hands here with dollar yen and the yen pairs in general. So yeah, euro yen strong close as well. I did talk about two areas where shorts look good for euro yen, this being one level and this being the other. We were respecting this area pretty well, but price decided to go and break through it this morning. So now with that level out of the way, my focus then shifts to 161.5. We'll see how price reacts with that area. Again, looking for the double tops, wicks, bearish engulfing candles. And if I can see something like that, I would like the shorts. I still do prefer pound yen, and we'll go take a look at that in a second. But I think euro yen's a nice pair as well, which again, if you do form the lower high, I'm expecting it from these areas. With pound yen, with pound yen, I do like the sells with this one, but again, looking at price action this morning, not looking particularly great. At least expect price to come back and respect resistance again, but we very much could get there, form the double top, see some rejection, and then the sales could be looking very good. It really depends how price gets there and how we fall. If we do see price showing aggressive candles above the level and breaking through, then of course I will have to rethink things. But we're still in a nice area for a lower high. The idea is that we formed this bearish leg. We've had a healthy pullback now. And if we don't form a lower high here, then it's probably a situation where I need to step away and analyze the yen pairs again. Maybe you are in a big reversal. But still looking bearish on the lower time frames because of how corrective we are, which is a key characteristic which we need to keep up. If we don't, then yeah, maybe we do have a reversal on our hands and maybe we are going to see a big push. So I need to keep an eye on that. But pound yen is my favorite at the moment. I have been looking a lot at CHF JPY as well, but it hasn't really set up well. And we had a very bearish CHF yesterday off the back of the CHF interest rates. So yeah, that kind of left the area for me. But if we do come back there, again, looking for the same situation as pound yen, wicks, projections, that double top, there might be a nice short to take this back down to the low. Again, a really healthy pullback from the high to the low. And of course, we come back into a nice area of resistance as well, where things have developed very well in the past. So if we come there again, expecting some rejection, low highs to form, and again, a short. If you do see a strong break through this, then again, that's where I'll look to probably reanalyze and look at the higher time frames and how the higher time frames candles close, because at that point in time, we might be seeing a reversal. But I want to keep an eye on the weekly candles this week. We've seen a lot of momentum to the downside, but we're starting to shift. If I go take a look at CAD Yen's candle, so it looks like we're forming a bit of a bullish engulfing candle there this week. Again, in terms of momentum, it doesn't mean too much more. The majority of the momentum has been very bearish, and it still is. But it might mean we have a bigger push to the upside. At the moment, still looking pretty corrective. But if we do gain momentum, I may look to close the trade a little bit early, rather than holding out to 103. I mean, my stop loss is still trailed above the high, so worst case scenario, I'm exited over there. But I may look to exit early if things do look like they're reversing, which they're not too far away. It would be an important day today how the yen pairs close. And then Aussie yen and New Zealand yen. These guys haven't done too much, I don't think. Yeah, but they are rounding off, which is not a good sign either. Um, slowly forming lower lows, now slowly forming higher lows. The rounding off shape is not a good sign as well for a pullback. You want to see a nice sharp move down and a steady correction move to the upside. That's kind of how you want to look at the pullbacks. These are the best pullbacks to trade. You don't want to trade a situation where we kind of push down, slow down, now we're kind of slowly pushing back up again. This has a more of a chance of reversing than continuing, which is kind of the shape we've got there. So need to be careful of that as well. I would imagine New Zealand yen, similar situation. Maybe a little bit, but it looks more to me that price is just rejecting lows very aggressively. But nonetheless, shorts around these areas still like healthy places to short from. It just might be a situation when if we do get there, we might not see the big continuation that we're looking for. It might just be more of a reaction for price to then potentially go further to the upside. So you have to be careful from that as well. But I still think these are great shorts from 90.2. Of course, we had the big consolidation, which price has been in for a very long time. We finally broke out of that to the downside. We might just see a big retracement to go and retest that area. Then the continuation, same situation as Aussie yen as well. Really healthy places to look for some shorts, retest that low. Still a really nice place for a short. We had that consolidation. Price was in for a very long time. Finally broke out of that. Might just be seeing the retest of that area again for continuation. So the shorts still look good from that area, and that could be where we're headed to. But I have to admit, it does look like price is forming a bit of a bowl shape pattern here, which is more of an indication of a lot more upside to come. So need to be careful with that. Hey, what's up, more? Welcome to the stream. Hope you are well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Friday, right back at you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope everyone's doing well. Yeah, I hope you're doing better, Will. Getting better again. Okay, good to hear. Good to hear. No problem, Ninad. Happy to help. Good morning, Regina. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Yes, there is. If you go Darkshon, if you go to the Elevating Traders YouTube channel, so if you just search on YouTube Elevating Traders, you will find the YouTube channel for it, and there is a video on a demo on how to use the trading platform. So yeah, there is a YouTube tutorial for that. So go check it out. Which EMA? This is the 200 EMA. This is the 200 normal EMA on the close. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the yen pairs. It has been a pretty nice move to the downside for a lot of them, but the way the retracing is showing some red flags. You can see when a market is having a really textbook retracement, which is when it's very easy to spot, and those are normally the cleaner trades. But sometimes you do get these kind of patterns where prices kind of forming a little bit of bowl shape, especially with CAD yen, which is the market I'm trading. As well, forming that double bottom there, breaking structure to the upside, not particularly great. The only reason why I still in the trade and I still like what I'm seeing is because we are still very corrective on the way up. If we stay corrective, then that does give me expectation that we will form a lower high at some point to continue the move to the downside. If we were flying to the upside very aggressively, so if this bullish momentum here just kind of continued, probably would have closed the trade at that point because that's more of a reversal rather than a sign of continuation as well. I mean, I have already booked profits with CAD yen, not holding full size, so I can let it do its thing really. But if I'm seeing obvious signs of reversal and things are changing, then it's probably best for me to look to interpret that as well. And if price does have a bigger pullback, there could still be some shorts here for CAD yen as well, similar to Aussie and New Zealand yen. Back to retest some of these areas, could still present some nice shorts. I was never really expecting price to get back up there, but if it is, need to reinvestigate, see how price reacts. There might be some nice shorts when we do get there. So yeah, with the yen pairs from a high time frame perspective, nothing's really changed just yet. But I'm going to keep an eye on how the weekly candle is closing, because if we do keep up the momentum, it might be a sign that things are changing and things are getting ready to see more upside. But the main reason I have been bearish, like euro yen, for example, again, we've rejected the high very, very well over there, respected it once, respected it again. I still do think we can get back and retest some support here. Maybe we see a bit of a bigger up move than expected before coming back down, but this is still a key sign of price reversing. We've got the low, well, high over there, higher high than the lower high, giving us that big head and shoulder. And of course, if I expand to the monthly chart, you can see we come back to a very significant high as well. Last time we had a similar pattern, price pinched the high, had a massive drop, formed the high, pinched the high. Again, expect to see a big drop as well. So we're in an area where it makes sense to short. We've seen some nice price action on the weekly chart as well. So I am bearish from that regard, but I have to admit lower time frames not shaping up that well. So I'm going to have to wait for some obvious signs of price turning around, double tops, the wicks, bearish engulfing candles, which at the moment we're not seeing. The only hope that I still have is that we are still pretty corrective here. So as long as we can keep that up, stay corrective, put some nice confirmations in, I will look for some entries. Same with pound yen as well. But if we do start to fly, then I'm going to have to move out the way of that and look at the yen pairs again, especially if we get some big breaker structures. But so far, still corrective, still looking to short. Just no trade for me to short just yet. So I have to stay patient from that. The worst thing to do is to have a bias in the market and just kind of look to trade that bias stubbornly, because you expect the market to sell, you expect the market to buy, so you're just looking for any excuse to enter that trade. That's when things get very, very tricky. Okay, JPY index. Okay, I'll have a look at that one. I was actually about to go and take a look, but you beat me to it there. So yeah, JPY index looking pretty bullish as well. 4,200 is a very, very key area. If we break through that high, then that will be a key sign that the index is back bullish again, and we probably are going to make a move back to the high at 42,400. We've been respecting the support. I was actually looking for price to break through the low here. We didn't do that. We respected it, formed a higher low, and continued. So this is a very important area of resistance, because if we break through that, then there's probably a good chance that we're just going to continue this move back to the high. So Japanese index in a very key place as well. I think I'll probably keep a little bit more of a lookout on to see how price develops with this one, because a strong close like that above the high is probably a sign that, okay, yen pair actually wants to continue higher, and go and test 4,200. Now, the index is overall very bullish market, so I do generally expect it to trend higher, as it's always been doing. Of course, that's been one of the big reasons why the yen pairs have been pushing higher as well. But if we do break the high, I find it very difficult to see a massive drop now for the index. We might have a correction, yes, but probably going to find a higher low again to keep pushing up. So yeah, index is overall kind of just consolidating, but if we make that move higher, see a higher high, then we probably got more upside in store. And of course, with the correlation, we're probably going to see the yen pairs try and make a move up. If I go take a look at the JPY basket, see a JPY basket coming back into support. At the moment, still looking very bearish. Had a nice bounce yesterday, but didn't really amount to much. As you can see, we came back in, nice rejection, but we roll back over. So it's going to be very important to see what we do at this area. If it's a strong break, then I'll look at 63.75 for the bounce. And if that area doesn't hold, then yeah, maybe we are just coming back to highs to continue lower. But yeah, it's very pivotal where we're trading. At the moment, yen still looks pretty weak, and it's not really giving me signals to short. So I'm going to have to stay patient. But yeah, way pound yen is shaping up, and this is the one I'm more focused with. I do think we probably will see a high back push back to the high, and then I'll look to see what happens after that. Do we continue? Do we start rejecting? Does momentum shift again? And then that will paint the picture for me. Gold buys 25.56 area, downward trend line, the 4 hour. Okay, I'll go have a look. Okay. So you're looking at a buy from 25.56. 25.56. Okay, so you're more or less looking for price to come to the lows around there. Downwards trend line on the 4 hour and retest the consolidation on the left. Okay, I'm not too sure which downwards trend line you're talking about there. Okay, 26.56. Okay. I was gonna say 26.56. Okay, so that's basically in that zone there, around there somewhere. Yeah, I think that's a healthy place for a buy. And in terms of the trend line, are you talking about connecting these higher lows here? I would presume. So coming back into this rough area, retest, higher low. So yeah, I like that. The only reason why I'm not looking to buy gold is because we did make a new higher high. That was kind of what I was looking for because we've had a lovely up move and all prices done come back to respect it. So if you made a higher high, confidently one as well, then that would be a nice place for a buy. But at the moment, I'm not really too interested in the gold buys. I think it's a nice place to buy still because there's still nice confluence there with the trend line there, the 200 coming through, and of course retesting the high of the consolidation as well. So I think it's still a nice place for a buy based on the confluence. In terms of market structure, it has definitely lowered the probability of the setup, which makes it a little bit more awkward. But I still think it's a nice place just for a bounce. It could potentially continue a lot further. Of course, we can't see into the future, but I think the trade would be a lot better if we did actually breach the high successfully and then pull back. Downward trend line. Oh, which trend line is that? From the highs? Downward trend line from the highs. Is it this trend line you're talking about? Maybe. Not too sure. But I like that bullish trend line though. I think that bullish trend line looks well. Connecting the high lows there, possibly tag that area as well. But it's a nice area of confluence. Okay, from that trend line, yeah. I mean, it's a nice area of confluence regardless. It's a healthy area for a buy. Of course, the market's still looking pretty bearish at the moment. So we need to wait for kind of evidence of price coming down and showing signs of a bounce. But yes, I think it's a nice area. But it just would be nice if you create the higher high. And it's the same situation with silver as well. I'm looking for the bounce for silver, looking for a buy for this one. But we sold off very hard yesterday, and it's made things a little bit awkward. I actually do think silver probably will continue a little bit lower now, back to 29.75, back to the low here at least. I still think the bigger move for silver is very much to the upside. I'm still very much a buyer of silver. But I just don't have a good opportunity to do so, especially with that big sell-off yesterday. And of course, silver and gold being correlated, that's where it gets a bit tricky. But yeah, gold's come back to a nice area. It's just I'm not going to be as optimistic with the move as I was at the beginning of the week. So yeah, I'd watch out from that. But yeah, still a nice area. So keep an eye out for that. And of course, if it fits the plan well, ticks your boxes, make sure you go ahead and take those position. Worst thing to do is have a good trade that ticks your box as well, and because of a bit of doubt or whatever, you decide not to take it, and it plays out, and you kind of like, look a little bit silly. So if you do have good trades, take them as long as you're managing your risk. Your edge is there. Your job is to play out that edge. So take those positions. Don't be afraid to take good trades. But yeah, it's a nice area. Just not as optimistic as how far it might go. Yeah, that rejection there is pretty strong. Okay. So are you looking to sell it to then buy it later on, I suppose? Retest of the 2674. So 2674. Okay, so you're roughly looking for the low here, I assume. Um, yeah, I mean, not a bad place. I mean, I probably would look for a slightly deeper correction if I was looking to short maybe this area or maybe something around there. I do like 50% corrections and above that, so that's kind of where I'll be looking to get involved if I was looking for one. But yeah, I think in terms of the lower time frames, we've definitely seen a lot of momentum to the downside. And of course, we've broken structure. We've seen some nice lower highs as well. We just look to the left, breaking through lows there. Really heavy sell, another heavy sell as well. So the chances are, if we do have a corrective move up, probably we'll see another drop as well. So yeah, in the lower time frames, I would be bearish. A lot of momentum in the market, and we definitely could keep pushing. Everything about music. What's up? Good morning. Good morning. Yes, I will take a look at AUS 200. No problem. Okay, yeah. Looking at the bigger picture, so sell to buy. No problem. Happy to help, Will. Happy to help. Rex, what's up? No problem. No need to apologize. What do I think of the DXY? Okay, let me just go through. Um, Let me just go through Aussie 200 and then I will go through your DXY for you. If anyone else wants me to go through some particular pairs, let me know. I will go through my watch list at some point, what I'm looking at personally, then I'll start to go through some of the crosses. We have seen some interesting moves throughout, to be fair. But yeah, I haven't looked at this market in a while, to be fair. Can't remember the last time. Well, there we go. That's probably the last time I looked at it, which was back in September. Actually, not too far ago then. Okay, so last time we were here, I was looking for some buys. Looks like we had a slightly deeper correction than anticipated. We did see that move, but we had a slightly bigger correction there. I mean, overall, the market is very bullish, so the analysis is still very straightforward in terms of direction. And we are still slowly climbing to the upside. So I do like what I'm seeing overall. Still seeing consecutive higher highs and higher lows. And it looks like we could be seeing another one forming pretty soon. I like the pullback we've just had here. Whip out the old fib from the high to the low. Come back into a healthy area there as well. Really healthy rejection down the 4-hour chart too. So yeah, I would be looking at upside now. I think in terms of entries, I would be looking for a double bottom of this. There's been a really nice reaction. I'll be looking for price to kind of push there one more time and look for some entries based on that. Get a nice stop loss underneath the low there. And of course, targets would be back at the high, but I would say look to at least bank some partials or trail stops along the way because there are definitely some areas where price can look to turn against you. So having some things to manage that could be a great idea. But in terms of what I'm seeing with the Aussie, everything is still very bullish. Higher time frame is still very bullish, still seeing consecutive higher lows. And we're still doing a pretty good job at holding onto that 200 moving average on the daily chart as well. So, yeah, it's still a very bullish market. We've seen a healthy pullback. I do think it's time to look for another buy opportunity. Nice rejection the past few hours. It would be nice if we come back to retest it. We've got the trendline confluence there as well. And I would expect another push back to the high. I think generally looking at a lot of the indices across the board, the DAX, US indices, even the UK 100, everything looks pretty bullish across the board. So I do think price will keep pushing. If you guys are enjoying the stream, by the way, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell as well so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. And of course, check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel if you haven't done so already. But I do appreciate everyone who has liked and subscribed so far. as I said, it does really help out. But yeah, I'll go through the dollar for you. Still sell on Euro, Pound, NZD, and Aussie. Okay, wow, really going across the board there. But more to scale, 50-minute time frame and 30-minute time frame. Okay. So if you want me to take a look at the low time frames, let me know. But I will go take a look at the DXY for you. And yeah, I'll go through my watch list as well. But yeah, for the DXY, we did see a strong move to the upside. Price broke through that 106,500 area. So as I said yesterday, if price does break through this, I do think we can see a bit more upside for the USD for the next few days back into the high here at 107.6. Overall, I'm still pretty bearish on the higher time frames for the dollar. So I'm still naturally bearish inclined, still looking for bearish opportunities because of where we're trading back at major resistance here. I can only be bullish until we pull away from this area or we break through. This is bearish territory. Whether we hold or not, that's a different question, but at least in this area is where I'm looking to short from. So I'm not really interested in taking advantage of opportunities that favor USD upside, but I can definitely see that this level has failed. Price has had a really strong break of that. We might come back for another retest of it, but it does look like we're probably going to push back to the high there at 107.6. So I'm pretty bullish on USD for the next few days. Maybe we come back down from that area. Maybe we break through and we see a big breakout. Then at that point, I would probably be bullish longer term on USD. But for now, with that strong break, we might just see price push back into the high up there. So if you are looking at opportunities for downside on the USD pairs, I think it does look good. Although Euro USD and pound, we are kind of testing some support, so I would watch out for that. As you can see, Euro USD testing some support now, so I would be careful about taking sells there. Although Euro could be looking to fall, but we very much could bounce first before falling. So I would watch out with that. With Euro, Pound USD is a similar situation as well. I think the sells do look good based on USD, but again, coming back into such a strong level of support, we might bounce first before then getting the sell. So I would watch out for that for both Euro and Pound. But yeah, if USD is going to be strong and push back to 107.6, then you're probably going to see Pound USD fall and Euro fall too, and probably come back to these lows there. So that could be the bigger move at play. But both of them, both Euro and Pound, are testing some key support right now, which could potentially see some upside. So I would be a little bit careful in that regard. I might even see a retest of that consolidation. And then Aussie, New Zealand dollar. These guys have been a bit more bearish, to be honest. So with this one, we're seeing a slight bounce there, but nothing really critical. For me to be looking to take some buys, I need things to really shift around, structure to break to the upside, higher lows to print, and then I can start discussing some longs. But yeah, Aussie dollar has been very bearish, and New Zealand dollar, same situation as well. I need price to start breaking structure to the upside first before I do talk about some longs. But yeah, if USD is going to be strong, then we probably are going to see these pairs drop. But because they are testing some key areas of support, I would be a little bit careful of that. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with USD. Okay, so I'll go through my watch list. Dollar CAD is a pair on my watch list, so I will take a look at that for you, no problem. But yeah, of course, at the moment, I'm going to be managing not pound yen, sorry, CAD yen to see how that gets on. Potentially could look to close early. Depends how momentum picks up or doesn't pick up. And that will be my judge whether I do close it out early. It's been a nice trade, nice move to the downside. So I don't mind closing it early. But the bigger move, I'm still looking for back down to 103. But if price does pick up momentum and it does look more of a reversal, because we did have a really nice double bottom here. We did break structure. So that is a bit of a red flag from a bearish standpoint there. So I have to be careful of that. But going to be managing CAD yen. I still do like pound yen. So this pair is still on my watch list. Still looking for some sells as well. I'm going to look to see how we develop on that double top. The idea is that I'm still looking for another lower high here. We had 1, 2, 3, 4. Looking for number 5 in this area here as well. But it looks like we'll probably come up, get that double top, and I'll look to see if we can get some nice wicks, some nice bearish engulfing candles. And if things look good, I'll be happy to take some shorts here. So what's above the high, at least targeting to the lows. But I do think we can have a really good, real good go at attacking some of the lows down there. But pound yen is still definitely on the watch list, just not quite there yet to short. I do like some of the CHF pairs. I do like New Zealand CHF for some downside as well. I'm looking at a bigger correction first, but I do think the bigger move for New Zealand CHF is still back to the lows here. The way that we have broken the lows very well, taking out some key support here on the left as well. I do think there's a good chance of another lower high forming and another swing to the downside. So the idea is that I'm looking to try and catch that next lower high somewhere for the shorts, and the areas I'm looking to get involved is still very much this kind of area. Broken support flipped as resistance. You can see we got some nice confluence coming back into this area. You can see a nice rejection there. Hopefully we can find the next lower high in this bearish sequence and right about to 0.51, but most importantly, the daily level just at the lows here. So New Zealand CHF, I'll keep a lookout. Aussie CHF, I was looking to short this as well, but it's done a really good job at respecting support. I was looking for price to break through this low here and then get the move back to the low down here, which is still very much the plan. But need to wait for it to actually break to the downside first. So that one is on the watch list, but it might take some time to develop. I also do like dollar CAD buys, and I actually like this one because on the weekly chart, we've broken through some significant structure here, really strong break to the upside. Also seeing a pretty consistent trend on the 4-hour chart, really nice higher highs and higher lows. So as long as that keeps going, keeps persisting, keeps giving me nice swing highs, I will look to find some higher lows at some point. And if this is a big breakout, we could be on our way back to major highs up here on the weekly chart. So there could be a lot more upside for dollar CAD. Hence, it's one pair which I'm really focused on in terms of looking to swing trade because it has the opportunity to go really far. And that's where trading stops can really come in, which is why I was so eager to short CAD yen, because I knew it was a market that has a good chance to really drop if it did drop. And it has had a nice move, although it might be coming to an end soon, but it's had a really nice drop. And that's the same thing here with dollar CAD. If I can catch this right, I know it's got the possibility to really run to the upside, and it could be a market which I trail and really take advantage of. But so far, this is the area which I'm looking to get involved in. Buys back at this consolidation. I'm looking for the retest of the high, but the breakout hasn't been quite big enough for that. I want price to push on a little bit further before I do consider a break and retest of this high here. So I'll keep an eye on that, but we have to keep pushing. If we don't, and we have a pullback from this height, then this is the only place I will look to find a buy from. But in terms of the idea, very much still looking to buy dollar CAD and very, very bullish on this one. And then, of course, silver was on the watch list as well. Still kind of is, but with the drop we had yesterday, it has made things very awkward, especially with the weekly candle close this week as well. So although I'm still looking to buy this one and take it back to the highs here around 34.5, 35, look at that weekly candle close, big wick to the upside, strong rejection. It looks like we probably will get a bit of a sell-off here for now for silver. So I'm going to have to step back a little bit with that bullish bias with silver. I still think it's going to be the bigger move, but at this point in time, we probably will see a bit of a sell first. So it's important I don't try and jump the gun here. And I think there's a good chance we do get back to the lows. But yeah, that's mostly what's on the watch list, to be honest. Yeah, don't really have any of the crosses on the watch list either. CHF pairs, I mean, I do like pound CHF, and I do like the breakout of that one as well. But I'm not going to look to add it to the watch list until we get the breakout to the downside, because the idea with pound CHF is that we had a big consolidation, and I'm waiting for price to break out this consolidation and get the continuation of this lovely drop in July. So I'm looking at this as an impulse correction almost for another impulse back down. But I need price to break out of the range first. Then I can start looking for some pullbacks and some shorts back into the low there. So I do really like pound CHF as well. It's just, yeah, it's just going to take a while for us to see that breakout. And for all I know, we might even break to the downside. It might be a break to the upside, which I'm not really interested in. I'm only looking for the break lower. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I've been looking at a lot of the CHF pairs for the past few weeks. I haven't really found the entries for that apart from CAD yen. Now that we have seen some nice pullbacks, I'm looking to find some entries. Pound yen looks good. In terms of how we've pulled back, doesn't look great at the moment for entries, but things can change. So I'm going to keep an eye out for that. CHF looks good as well, but after the interest rates yesterday has made things a bit awkward. So I'm more kind of focused towards pound yen. So hopefully that can give me what I'm looking for. If not, then I have to sit on the sidelines. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at probably, well, at least the rest of today, but definitely mostly for next week. But of course, I'll see how the candles close for the week, reanalyze on Saturday, and then really consolidate my watch list for next week. No problem, Rex. Happy to help. Okay, nice. Next week, Monday to Thursday, lots of news. Yes, we do actually. That's a good point. Let me actually go take a look at that. So for Monday, I mean, there's a lot of news. I could literally just read it all out, to be honest. We got PMI for Euro, France, Germany, pound, all in the Monday morning, really. So that's a nice start to the week there. PMI for USD as well in the afternoon, 2:45. This is all UK time. Then Tuesday, unemployment rate for pounds, retail sales for USD, CPI for CAD. Wednesday, inflation rate for pound, CPI for euro, Fed interest rate for USD at 7 o'clock at night. And then Thursday, Bank of England interest rate, 12 in the morning. That'll be right at the end of my stream, so I'll probably cover that. Jobless claims in the afternoon for USD, GDP for USD as well, existing home sales, inflation rate for yen in the evening. And then Friday, we've got PCE for USD, and that's about it. But yeah, a lot of news, especially Monday to Thursday. So yeah, gonna have to keep an eye on that, of course, especially on the lower time frames. You're gonna see a lot of noise. But yeah, I mean, once you trade for a while, you kind of get used to the news as well. It's almost like every other week there's a pretty impactful week, whether Bank of whatever is having an interest rate decision or a major CPI event, or got NFP on the Friday. There's always news around the corner, so I always have to take that into consideration. But anyway, let's go through some of the crosses. So I've kept an eye on them. I actually am starting to like pound Aussie and pound NZD. They're not on the watch list just yet because they're not developed in terms of what I want to look for. But we had a really big move to the upside the past couple of days, taking out these highs here, and I'm looking for not necessarily a reversal, but a bit of a counter trend move. All right, take care, Will. Okay, yeah. IC Markets is a very, very big, reputable broker. So, yeah, go check them out. But yeah, have a good weekend, my man. We'll hopefully see you next week. But yeah, appreciate it. And yeah, guys, if you are enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. But appreciate it. Will, take care. Have a good weekend, my man. I appreciate it, Holy One. To be fair, I think it's more to do with my human nature, to be fair. I don't think I'm necessarily anything special. It's just kind of my personality, really. No need to force anything if anything's not there. That's my logic. But yeah, with pound Aussie, I am looking for some sells for this one because we have pinched the high. But yeah, it's not quite there yet. I need to start to see some lower lows and lower highs. I like the momentum. That's great to see. We just pinched the high and we shot straight to the downside. So it's a sign that things could be shifting. But I want to see price pull back, form some lower highs, and then take some shorts here. That's really what I'm looking to do. Of course, I don't know if it's going to set up like that, but that's kind of what I'll be looking at. Some lower highs to take to the downside. And I'm not looking for anything crazy. I understand very much so that the trend is still very much to the upside to a degree. It's not the cleanest trend you'll see, but we're trading at some heights here, some big levels. I do think price has a good chance of seeing some downside, whether it turns into a reversal or just a counter trend move. It's obviously difficult to tell until we finally know the answer, but I know it's a nice place to start looking to short the market. And of course, I could be very wrong. Maybe the trend's going to continue. If that's the case, we're not going to see the lower highs I want to see. The market is just going to keep pushing like that. And I'll reanalyze if that happens. But for now, looking for some shorts, waiting for some lower highs to develop, and then hopefully you can take some trades later on. And pound NZD, its partner in crime, doing a similar in a similar situation as well. Flip to the daily chart, still looking very bullish. Don't get me wrong, this could still very much fly to the upside after we're taking out some major highs like this. And of course, we took out the COVID high not long ago as well. In some areas where I do think we can turn around, but I have to be careful. So we are still looking pretty bullish. This could very much still be a correction for price to keep pushing, but because of where we're trading, I'm not looking to take any buys. I want to wait for lower highs to start developing, and then I'll start speaking on some shorts and trying to see if I can catch that to the downside. But it's still very early days, could still very much continue bullish. That's why it's not on the watch list, because it could very much still be bullish, but it's something I'm keeping an eye on. In terms of Euro Aussie and Euro NZD, these guys have been a bit all over the place, so not really looking to do anything with them either, to be honest. Has been very corrective. I dropped to the daily chart. Been some nice highs over there. Looks like we're forming a lovely bottom here. Come back into some nice areas where, again, we might sell off a little bit. I wouldn't be too surprised if we do break out to the upside and see a big run back to the high there. I say that because pound Aussie and pound NZD have been very bullish, whereas Euro Aussie and Euro NZD haven't really followed suit. So I do think maybe they might catch up. But nonetheless, it's a nice place for a short. If you are bearish on Euro Aussie, this is kind of the place to short from. I just tidy that up a little bit. This is the place to short from. It looks like we're coming back up for another retest. So if you can see price come back up there again, not a bad place for an entry and look to short from. If, of course, price does break through this, then, it's something you don't want to look to get involved with, because at that point, price is very bullish. And like I said, we might see that bigger breakout. But I will still be short biased because we're still respecting this area in general, still forming these lower highs. So, still looking for a move down, but not looking particularly great. And in terms of Euro NZD, which I don't like at all, this is just a very textbook, very messy pair. Consolidating like no man's business. Maybe we're making a push back to the high for some shorts. That could be the case. I might see a short from there at some point in time, but nothing right now. Nothing right now at all. So yeah, not a big fan of the crosses. And Euro pound's been interesting, I must admit. Of course, pound's pretty weak this morning off the back of the GDP news. But we're trading in such an area where you can look to predict moves like that, because yesterday, Euro pound was looking very bearish and we were falling to the downside, breaking through the low here. But I said that monthly candle still got 19 days to close at the time yesterday. It's got 18 days now. But a lot can happen in 18, 19 days. And even though yesterday we're looking very bearish, we could still we still could very much close very bullish for this month, especially when we're trading at lows like this. So the fact the market shot straight back up, respecting these lows, is a bit of a sign that's saying, okay, the buyers are slowly come back into town, and there could be some nice buys on the retest of this level here. I probably would want to see a slightly bigger breakout before looking at some pullbacks, but this could end up being a nice trade. Another fake out of that level, grabbing liquidity there. Could see a nice bounce next week and a nice buy. So Euro pound, although not really a trade which I'll look to follow, but it's in a nice area where definitely we could see a big bounce and a lot more upside there. So I would watch out for Euro pound. Hey, what's up, Lorda? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Happy weekend to you as well. We'll have a good one. We'll catch you next week, hopefully. But yeah, I appreciate you tuning in. Hoodie one, okay, back to swinging again. Nice. Oh, fair play. Delete shots off your phone. Oh, the RSI when I get to a certain level. Okay. Wow, going in blind. But yeah, I mean, it's always difficult with the phone. I mean, I've, especially with the way I analyze, I've definitely got to be on my desktop for that. But I don't mind monitoring trades on the phone. I mean, I kind of have to if I'm not at my desktop, and the phone's the only way, of course. But I don't like if I have to come up with a trade and pick a trade off my phone. So I feel like I'm not getting the whole picture, the whole view. I don't mind doing all the analysis on my desktop, and then if I'm out and about and the trade does set up, then I'm more than happy to take the trade on my phone because I already trust my analysis that I already did prior. But yeah, coming up with a trade and trading off the phone completely um, has always been a bit tricky for me. So I never looked to do it. But in terms of managing trades, yeah, I don't mind that from the phone. It's just convenient, really. Buy UNSD. Yeah, I wouldn't be looking to buy UNSD incognito or coming back into major resistance. Yep, I will take a look at Litecoin as well, MD, no problem. But yeah, I wouldn't be looking to buy UNSD. We just touched on that one. It's coming back into some resistance, so I don't think it's a great time to be looking to buy it. Possibly we could be looking to make a move back to the highs up there. So in that regard, yes, there might be some nice buys to take it up into that area. As you can see, we're approaching some major resistance on our left here, 1.822. So even though we might break through, might go and hit that bigger level, it's just not the best time to buy. Again, you don't want to be trading the analysis. You want to be trading the chart as we approach resistance. Not a great place, not a great place to buy, even if we are going to break through. And of course, we don't know that either. We could very much respect it and come plummeting down. So if you're looking to do anything with UNSD, I think shorts look good. I do think the bigger move is probably to the upside. So if you do get short, might be a situation where you're a bit more aggressive and you're not looking to hold that trade for too long. Very much could come back into some areas, find support, and continue. But it's an area of resistance. So if you're going to do anything, I think sales make the most sense. If you are looking to buy, then I'd wait for some breakouts maybe. But yeah, I would not be looking to buy UNZD. I'll go through Litecoin. Then I'll take a look at AUDNZD. Okay, so this one. Okay, so we did end up having a nice reaction at that level. Last time we touched upon Litecoin, we were talking about some buys from 105 and a push back to this area. Looks like we just about tapped into that. So yeah, I mean, crypto has been, I don't know, crypto's been a little bit bullish, but it's been quite corrective. It's not like it's been flying, at least for the past few days anyway. So with this one, again, we're slowly pushing up. Not the best sign in the world. I don't like the big bearish candle we had there. It's a bit too big for my liking. So I would be a bit careful with Litecoin as we start approaching some of these areas. We very much could see bearish momentum step in. I wouldn't be looking to sell, but if I was long from here, I would be looking to bank some partials here, maybe leave some to run, bank some more partials here, leave some to run to the high, and bank some more there. Maybe just close the trade, or maybe leave a little bit to continue because I know it's a crypto market, so it has the opportunity to fly. So I probably want to leave myself the opportunity to potentially capitalize on that. But I would be looking to lock in some gains there. Maybe we do come back down for another retest if you're looking for some long entries still. I think this is still the best place for it. Possibly if you do come back for a double bottom, could present some nice buys. I think because of all the momentum in the market, I still wouldn't want to be looking to go short of these areas. I think it's still a little bit aggressive to try and short these areas here. I would still be bullish overall. Market still trends to the upside. So if you're not already long on this one from down here, then you're waiting for it to get there again to find some more entries. And like I said, these are the areas which you really want to manage your trade from. I wouldn't want to be looking to sell from those areas. The market's still a little bit too bullish from that, even though we had a big candle close a few days ago. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for Litecoin. Overall, still looking to attack to the upside. Um, Okay, so only way to get back to 100 pip moves. Yeah, it'd be very difficult to catch 100 pip plus moves if you're trading the 15-minute chart, the hourly chart. And it's not a must to hit the 100 pip moves, but if you are looking for that size, that kind of size in the market, then lower time frames can be very difficult to do that, at least consistently anyway. Okay, and to then delete them and go about my business. Yeah, I mean, it makes trading much simpler by doing that. To be honest, if you take the trades, set everything for it, and then walk away from it, let the market do its thing. I think in terms of ease, stress, keeping the emotions in check as well. It's probably the best way to actually trade because you kind of make it a little bit more automated. And it's not automated because you're still placing the trades, but in terms of managing and seeing every tick in your favor or against you, um, not keeping yourself locked in, focusing on every single move is definitely going to make your trading a little bit more stress free. But yeah, I mean, in terms of management, in terms of my trades, I try to not look at the charts as much as possible, only when I need to. Of course, I'm a human, so I don't always look at the chart when I need to. But if I'm in a trade like Kajin, for example, I would have drive myself up the wall if I kept watching every single move in my favor because I've already been in that trade for two weeks plus. So yeah, that would drive you insane. So it's important just to kind of distance yourself from the trades and let the market do its thing. Yes, I've gone through the Lord. I was going to say I've gone through the Lord pairs. Yes, Lord, I have gone through the JPY pairs, but I will go through some if you want me to take a look at them. I appreciate it more. I appreciate it, my man. I've been in Europe for a while because I can't see the chart. I suppose that's one way to hold into trades for longer. If you can't see the chart, then you can't really do much, can you? Okay, so let me go through New Zealand CAD, and then I'll start to go. Actually, let me go through the rest of the CAD pairs because I haven't done that yet. But yeah, New Zealand CAD, as I mentioned before, and Lord, if you want me to go through some yen pairs, let me know. Um, yeah, with this one, I do like the shorts because it does look like price is just about breaking outside that channel, but nothing that gets me too excited just yet. I do think the bigger move for New Zealand CAD is back to the lows here, which is at 0.79709. I still think that's the bigger move, but I need price to kind of speed it up because we're just kind of teasing whether we're going to break this structure or not. We break it, then we break back above, then we break it again. Are we going to break back above? Who knows? But if you do manage to break through this low on the left, then that's a clear sign to me that the market is likely to stay bearish and continue falling. So that's kind of really what I'm waiting for. And I'll be more than happy to look for some pullbacks afterwards. If the market is going to break to the upside and we're going to fly, I want to see price break through 0.83 because that'll break up the channel, break the highs as well. That'll be a key indication that tells me that, okay, this channel is holding, market is rebounding off that low, and we're probably going to see a move back to the high here. So yeah, if I'm looking to buy, I need that situation to happen. At the moment, neither. So that's why I'm a bit more neutral, but that could turn very quickly if we just see price drop today. Yeah, I think shorts look really good next week. We might see some more downside. But I'm leaning towards the bearish bias because I'm not confident that price is going to bounce off this low. I think if price was going to bounce off this low, off the trend line and continue higher, I think we would have seen it by now. So yeah, I'm looking at some more downside for New Zealand CAD as well. Okay, 50 break, then delete. Holding to that RSI tells me to exit. Okay, see you next week. Okay, no problem. Take care, Holy One. But that's a good way to keep it very, very simple because we do get in the way of our trade sometimes, exiting too early because things look a little bit bullish, but then it was only kind of just in the moment or vice versa. So having some finite rules that keep you in the trade and exit you from the trade is a good way to keep things very, very simple and make things manageable as well. And I think it probably makes trading a lot more enjoyable as well when you have kind of those black and white rules that kind of get you in, get you out. You're not thinking on the spot too much. And it does make trading a lot more easy and a bit more enjoyable because you don't want to be in a situation where you constantly have to rely on yourself interpreting the market to exit at the right time and enter at the right time, because at the end of the day, we're just working with very limited information, technical analysis or some fundamental analysis. We don't have the big picture here, so we have to make things systematic, but also make sure probability is in our favor. And if we can do both, then that is a big win. Afternoon, Antonio. Hope you are well. Okay, let me go through the rest of the CAD pairs. So with Aussie CAD, it's a similar situation as with New Zealand CAD in terms of we had a lovely bullish channel here, still do to a degree, but we had a lovely bullish channel here, and of course the highs up there. And it looks like price has broken through that, but it looks like we're hanging on for dear life. There's some support here on the left, which price is kind of struggling to break through. But I'm looking at some more downside for New Zealand CAD, but I just want to see some more evidence of us continuing lower. And I say that because this bearish move has just been so corrective. So I want to see some momentum pick up from somewhere. At the moment, it's not strong enough, not meaningful enough for me to be jumping into any sells. But I do think we can push lower. If something like this happens at some stage, then yeah, I'll be more than happy to look for some pullbacks and look and try and continue that move lower. Because the idea is that I'm looking for us to come back into the low. If I zoom out to the weekly chart, you can see price has been forming these lows here. So we had the high over there. We had these equal highs over there. This to me looks like potentially the next lower high in the sequence. If I zoom out, you can see really nice bearish structure, continuous. So I think this could be the next lower high in that sequence. And if you do get a strong break of that channel, you're probably going to see price absolutely melt to the downside. So I think there could be some nice shorts for Aussie CAD and New Zealand CAD. Of course, they're both very similar markets and tend to do the same thing 90% of the time. So if Aussie CAD's going to make a big move down, New Zealand CAD's probably going to join it as well. I'll just be picking the two, picking out of the two, which is the best opportunity, and just focus on that one. But not quite ready for me yet, New Zealand CAD. Not really breaking out this corrective channel, but when it does, if it does, I'll be there to take some shorts, and New Zealand CAD as well. In terms of Euro CAD and Pound CAD, Euro CAD's been pretty bullish. I did talk about some buys yesterday on the retest of this area. It looks to be playing out pretty well. It's more of a short-term trade. If I was looking to trade this, I'll probably drop to the hourly, maybe even lower, to try and see if we can get a swing back to the high here. I wouldn't look for anything more than that, just because I don't really have a long-term bias with Euro CAD. It was nice when we were trading right at the highs over here, looking for the sell, or if we can get back to the lows here. But overall, it's a very choppy market. There's a slight uptrend to it, but yeah, it's almost non-existent really. So I wouldn't get too excited about this trend. I had a really big V-shaped pattern here, which is why I've been looking for an up move. Really aggressive drop, followed by an aggressive recovery. Bit of a correction here, strong move to the upside. So the idea was, again, another correction, followed by another move to the upside. Maybe it takes us to the highs there. I'm not quite sold on that. But as I said yesterday, this is a nice area for a buy, at least back to the high here at 1.49722. So if price was to maybe come back for another retest, I think that's a nice place to look for some longs. Again, probably on the hourly 30-minute chart to really maximize that risk to reward and get a nice swing back to the high there. But that's really what I'm after for EuroCAD. And Pound CAD, I'm looking at something similar as well. Pound has been a bit weaker because of the news we had this morning. But I do think Pound CAD's bigger move to the upside as well. I think this area is very interesting area, 1.79. We did stall here for a few hours before a really strong move to the upside. Of course, has been price support on the left there as well. So I do think if Pound CAD does drop a little bit further to this area, there's a good chance we do bounce and see some continuation. Overall, if I do scale to the high time frames, you can see Pound CAD has been still strongly pushing to the upside. It did break some structure, not long ago, and I was looking for that lower high to form, but it never did. And now we just pushed right back to resistance. So because of that, I do think we'll probably break through another V-shaped pattern similar to EuroCAD, just a lot bigger, big drop to the downside, big recovery. Might see a bit of a correction from that, and then the continuation through the high there. So yeah, EuroCAD, PoundCAD, I would be bullish on both of them. Might see a bit more downside before we do push up, especially for PoundCAD. But yeah, after that V-shaped correction, I wouldn't be surprised if we go and take out the highs next week and create some new ones as well. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the CAD pairs overall. Yeah, not really on the watch list just yet. Maybe Aussie CAD and New Zealand CAD might find themselves on the watch list next week if we can see a really bearish end to the week this week. But they're not quite ready for me just yet. Antonio, okay, pound Aussie. So yeah, as I mentioned with pound Aussie, I am looking for some sells with this one, but again, not quite ready yet. If I expand to the high time frames, you can see we take out some really nice heights here. Some big wicks being taken out, this wick as well. So I'm looking at some downside pressure for pound Aussie. But first, I want to see some lower lows and lower highs before I do start taking any shorts. And that's to keep me on the right side of the market, because at the moment, the market is still bullish. Despite the fact we've taken out some big highs, we very much could still form another higher low and still keep pumping. So I need to see evidence of failure to continue, and of course, some low highs stepping in. And that's when I'll look to take some shorts. But what I do like, what I do like, and what I've seen is price create the high, and we've seen a really strong bearish move following that. So it's more of an indication that we're struggling to sustain these heights, and prices starting to tire. So if we can see that persist, some lower highs as well, then maybe there could be some nice shorts that develop in the next week or two, and we can look to take that lower. But yeah, I'm bearish bias on pound Aussie because of where we're situated, but not quite ready to be looking to short. Lauder, okay, like the pound CAD. Yeah, it's a nice opportunity, especially if we can come back into the 1.79 area, because this is the area which I was looking to short from. But of course, price broke through that, didn't get my confirmation, and now it has become a nice place for a long. And judging on that big V-shaped pattern as well, that's an indication of more upside to me. Seen a lot of these V-shape and inverse V-shape patterns recently, and they have been playing out very, very well, to be fair. So, if that theme continues, there's a good chance that pound CAD continues that and continues higher. So, yeah, pound CAD, I do think we're probably going to run back to the highs at some point. And you can see as well with the way we're moving down, it's still very. Oh, did not mean to do that. The way pound CAD has been seeing some downside over the past couple of days, it's still very corrective. At no point does it look like we're about to form a high to completely sell off. This looks to me like a correction for price to keep pushing up higher. So even the way we're pushing down looks like a corrective move as well. So yeah, V-shaped pattern looks like a correction following suit. Nice area of confidence around here. Might see the 200 come into that level too, and probably see an up move. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with pound CAD. But overall, the CAD pairs, yeah, none quite ready yet for me. But maybe Aussie and New Zealand CAD could shape up pretty soon. And of course, with the rest of the CHF pairs as well, not really too interested in. CAD CHF looks a big mess as well. I mean, it's not really a big mess. It's just consolidating. That's all. Which is nothing which I want to trade. But hey, maybe something can develop soon, and we can get some nice breakouts. And I could be talking a lot more about CAD CHF. I do think there is a room for a big move to the upside, but this turned to be a really big fake out. So hopefully we can pick up some pace, see some strong highs form. Then I could look for some pullbacks that ride it to the moon. But yeah, not looking good just yet. And CAD CHF looks like the only one which I want to buy as well. So I'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, really my focus does lie with pound yen. I'll keep an eye on dollar yen as well, because it's at a nice place to short too. But I think pound yen looks a lot better. The correction looks a lot better as well. Where we're trading looks a lot better too, coming into that 200 moving average area. But look at dollar yen. We've had a nice move to the upside. We are coming back to a nice level as well, a level which I said shorts look good. But with USD being pretty strong as well, it's a little bit difficult to short dollar yen. I think with USD being strong, it's just going to be naturally a better market to short pound yen, because even pound's been a little bit weak as well. So dollar yen's just going to be a little bit harder to short. Of course, it's still looking pretty bullish now. No indication of us turning around, so have to stay patient. And if we do see price break through that, probably will back away completely from the shorts with dollar yen. Looks like it might be getting a strong close down the weekly chart as well, which reminds me, I want to go take a look at some of the weekly candles. But yeah, very strong close there. Marcus, okay, I'll take a look at pound NZD for you. And then I'll go through some of the weekly candle closures. So yeah, pound NZD is a market which I'm actually getting ready to short from. We've seen lots of upsides. All right, appreciate you coming onto the stream more. Have a good weekend, my man. Wish you a great weekend and good day as well. But appreciate you tuning in. Have a good weekend, and hopefully we'll see you next week. But yeah, with pound NZD, we had a lovely move to the upside, and the overall trend is still pretty bullish because we are still slowly pushing to the upside, and there very much could still be a lot more room. I mean, very much could still see another big push to the upside, but because of where we're trading and the highs we're taking out, I am looking for some sales now for pound NZD. But I have to admit, a lot needs to happen before I do get the shorts, because I'm looking at how price is looking right now. This looks to me like another correction, and we very much could see price retest some areas here and very much continue to the upside. Not my type of trade because of where we're situated. I don't like taking pullbacks and buys after taking out major daily highs. That's not really where I want to be situated when I am taking my pullback. So for that reason, I try to stay out of those trades. But I have to admit, it's definitely looking like a correction. And if we do see a successful bounce at this level, we could still see pound NZD keep pushing to the upside. So yeah, I do think it's very possible for us to see more upside for pound NZD. But because of where we're situated as well, I do like the sells. So I'm waiting for lower highs to print, lower lows, and then I'll look for some pullbacks somewhere to take some shorts. At the moment, not looking likely. There's no indication of lower lows or lower highs forming. So it's very much me just staying alert and waiting for that to happen. If it does happen, if not, then yeah, we very much could keep flying. So yeah, pound NZD, I would keep a close eye on that. I think the buys make sense. It's just I don't like taking buys in terms of where we're located. If this price action was below and we haven't taken out the high yet, then that would be something I'll be interested in. But after we've taken out the fresh highs, now it's time I back off, see how price develops, whether the trend continues or we reverse, and then I'll plot some trades after that. But yeah, we could still see more upside from that regard there. Okay, let me take a look at some of these weekly candle closures, especially with the yen pairs. In fact, let me turn off my drawings there. Okay, so we'll start with Swiss yen. Let's see how that candle's looking. Okay, so of course we're going to close bullish, but we left a bit of a wick to the upside. I mean, I say we left a bit of a wick. We haven't got the candle closure yet. We still got 10 hours left, and I wouldn't say we'll probably fill the wick, but we could do a job at clawing some of that back. So at the moment, anyway, I'll look again on Saturday when I do my analysis. But so far, it does look like a bullish kind of closure, but it's not something where I would say, okay, I'm expecting the market to push up now. Just more of an indication that we pull back into some structure. So I think shorts still look good based on the weekly chart. Of course, a lot more needs to go into the shorts than that, but from a weekly chart, it doesn't look like things are reversing just yet. If we go take a look at Aussie yen. Okay, so this one forming a bit of a bullish engulfing candle, but I wouldn't look into that too much because very strong impulse up, impulse down. We very much could come back, retest that consolidation. I still think the shorts look good. This might just mean we have a bigger pullback than expected, retest the consolidation and find some shorts later on. So I think Aussie yen still looks like a good short to me. We just might push back a little bit further. I think New Zealand yen, probably similar situation. This one, I mean, not looking as good either, but I like the consolidation up there. If price was to come back and retest that, I still think that's a nice short to take it back into the lows and maybe further as well. So yeah, it might be seeing a bounce, yes, but I still think that consolidation up there still looks like a great place to short from, especially because all the momentum we had to the downside from that. If I go over to dollar yen, this is where it gets a little bit interesting because I'm pretty sure the candle looks really bullish. Yeah, so it is looking very bullish there. So yeah, that's a big indication because as well, we're breaking above this high here with my crosshair. Very strong resistance. Price looks like it's breaking back above, which is not what I want to see as a bear. So yeah, with dollar yen's close, unless we kind of topple out with a big double top and come right back down, this resistance is going to play a big role for me. Because if we can hold into that resistance, I think the shorts are still on. I'll still be looking to short the market. If we break through that resistance, of course, we'll probably find that answer next week. Then yeah, we're going to push back to the highs here. So if 155 clears, we're looking at 161. So very important resistance, but not looking good so far. Pound yen, yeah, looking quite bullish there as well. I have to see how that goes. Same situation as dollar yen. We might see a bigger pullback into the high here too, double top and then sell. I think that's my last point of call. If you break through that high, then yeah, I do think we'll push back to the highs there, 206. So need to be careful of that. We might just be seeing the bigger pullbacks now with the yen pairs really, and the more I look into it. With Aussie and New Zealand yen, we might see big pullbacks to the ranges. With pound yen, might see a big double top at this point. Dollar yen looks like we'll see that. If I go over to euro yen, again, strong rejection as well. Not too sure if we'll get double top, but it looks like we probably will see some upside next week as well. And of course, CAD yen, the one I'm trading at the moment. This one looks like it's bullish engulfing as well. Yeah, I probably look to close the trade a little bit early. Maybe we do push on, retest that area, then get another sell there too. So it might be a bigger correction than first expected, but that looks like momentum is shifting. So probably we'll look to pull the trade and then maybe look to re-enter as we approach some areas up there. How are the USD pairs looking? Okay, bearish this week for euro, but nothing really big. Still trading at major support. Pound USD, I'd imagine something similar as well. Yeah, but a little bit bearish. We are hanging on to that 200 there, which might mean another drop back to the lows here for pound next week. In terms of the DXY, how are we looking? That's looking pretty bullish as well. But again, I'm not going to read too much into that. Still respecting resistance. If we were to close above that, that would change the game. But so far, we're just closing back into resistance, which could mean another sell-off. Dollar CAD candle, pretty strong. Yeah, still showing momentum above the high. So the breakout's very much on. Might still see more upside with that one. In terms of Aussie dollar, okay, it's more or less a doji, just about bearish. So yeah, not much information from there. And New Zealand dollar as well. Okay, that's closing very strongly. Might break the lows here, which could mean a pushback to 0.555. So it does look like from a weekly standpoint, yen pairs are shifting bullish, but I'm not sold that that's a move to continue the whole trend. It might just be a bigger pullback than I anticipated to form some major double tops or respect the highs. And then I'll look to go again. In terms of the USD, seeing some strong closures. USD's definitely had a bullish week, and we might see that momentum continue to next week. But we still got some key areas to break first before I do think the bigger move is on. But again, I'll reanalyze again when the weekly candle does close. Doesn't it look like more the break and retest strategy? Are you talking about pound NZD? Yeah, like I said, it's not a confirmation that pairs are reversed. It's a strong candle closure. but it's not enough to indicate that yen pairs are reversed, because equally we could very much come back into resistance up here and then come straight back down. If price was to break through this high, then yes, it would be an indication that price is reversed for me, because the way I look to analyze the market, I look at market structure, and that dictates my bias. So momentum is great, but it doesn't dictate a bias. If price does take out a structure, takes out the high, then yes, that's an indication that I'm probably going to expect more upside back to the high there. You very much could come up here, respect it, and come right back down. And that kind of goes for all the yen pairs as well. Aussie yen, same situation as well. It's a nice candle close, but we could very much come back into this area and come straight back down. So the strong close on the weekly chart is a more of an indication that momentum has shifted, and we're seeing some momentum on the lower time frames, but I don't think it means that everything is now going to be flying to the upside. It could be, we don't know until we know, but I'm pretty bearish based on higher time frames, so I'm going to still keep that bias until structure is broken. If you break it again, of course, I'll read into that. And yeah, as I said for pound NZD, no problem, Lauder. As I said for pound NZD, let's scoot over to pound NZD. As I said for pound NZD, yes, it's a nice break and retest opportunity there, but because of where we're trading, it's not an area which I would look to take a break and retest. After we take fresh highs, the probability of the opportunity is greatly reduced. If it was a break and retest below the high, that'd be a great trade, but not one that has just taken out a major high. And that does reduce the probability of the trade. So yeah, it is a break and retest, but you have to be careful where you take your break and retest. Break and retest strategy is not blindly buying. Blindly buying. There we go. Every break and retest you see, you have to be very careful. You have to be very accurate, because if you take every break and retest, you probably would lose money. So you need to focus on the better ones, and this is a situation which I'll look to buy. Doesn't mean it won't work, just means it's not a trade that is optimal. So yeah, for that reason, I wouldn't look to take it. But yeah, guys, we have approached the end of the stream. If you have found it useful, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you are finding it useful, enjoyable, educational. If you are finding the streams beneficial in any way, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. I do appreciate everyone who has liked the stream so far. It does really help out, and I do really appreciate it. And of course, check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. You can find the link to that in the Discord. Can't find the link to the Discord in the Discord. You can find it in the description, which is what I meant to say. And you can find it at the top of the chat, link there as well. So go check it out if you guys haven't done so already. You join discussions, chat with other traders, including myself, and learn more about the firm as well. So check it out if you haven't done so. But guys, appreciate you tuning in. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. And as always, I will catch you all next week.